Did you see that? What was that?
If there was one street in the whole of Nigeria that deserves a reality TV show, it is Okologo Street. That street had more drama than Nollywood and more gossip than a WhatsApp women's group. From morning till night, somebody was always shouting, laughing, fighting, or borrowing something. That street had everything. A tailor who never delivered in time, a woman who sold groundnuts and always added gist for free, and children who could announce every visitor louder than a town crier. But among all the characters on Ogologo Street, one man stood out like a stubborn pimple. His name was Marcus, the big man who didn't have big money. He was tall, dark, and walked as if he was allergic to poverty. He wore oversized sunglasses even at night and spread so much perfume that mosquitoes fainted when he passed. But if you mistakenly open his wallet, you will find only one faded passport photo, two old ATMs, and one stubborn 50 naira note that had refused to leave him. Yet, Marcus carried himself like a millionaire. He always said, "Big man no dey rush." Ironically, he was always the first to rush when free food appeared. Now, across the street lived Desmond, a calm, hardworking man who everyone respected. Desmond didn't talk much, but when he spoke, people listened. He was the kind of man who paid his rent before the landlord even remembered. He was a traveler and fixed things for neighbors without charging a dime, just as his own way of contributing to the society. His biggest weakness was his good heart, and Marcus knew it. One day, while Desmond was washing his car, Marcus arrived like a man with urgent destiny. He wore a smile that could convince even a banker to lend him money without collateral. "My brother!" he shouted from afar. Brother Des, the man of the hour and the man with Sabi. Desmond looked up with water dripping from his hands. "Marcus, what did happen again?" Marcus placed one hand on his chest dramatically. "Desmond, my brother, I no go lie. I am in a little tight corner. You know me. I don't like begging, but this one passed me." Desmond sighed. "How much do you need?" Marcus rubbed his head like a student writing jam. Not too much, just small 150,000 naira. Desmond's hand paused mid-air. 150,000 naira? For what exactly? Marcus clapped his hands, laughing fake laughter. "My brother, opportunity don't land. One of my customers wants me to supply phone accessories in his office. You are my last hope for this one, my brother, and the profit of that deal is not something I can afford to lose." Desmond hesitated. He had been saving that exact amount to buy a generator, but looking at Marcus's sweaty face and dramatic acting, he pitied him. He went inside, brought out an envelope and handed it over. "Marcus, please don't disappoint me. This is my savings." Marcus almost danced. Desmond, trust me now. By next week, your money go don land. I won't disappoint you, my brother." Before Desmond could say anything else, Marcus had already run out of his compound like someone being chased by poverty itself. 1 week passed, 2 weeks passed, then 1 month. No phone accessory deals, and most painfully, no Marcus. Whenever Desmond saw him and asked about the money, Marcus had a ready-made story. Brother Dex, I beg no verse. The goods had arrived Lagos, but you know customs and their wahala now. They're hola. Once they release it, trust me, your money will get to you. Soon, Marcus started dodging Desmond. If he saw him buying bread at the junction, he would suddenly remember he forgot something at home. If Desmond calls, Marcus will pick the phone and say, "My brother, let me call you back. I am in a meeting, please." Okologo Street people started noticing because you can't hide anything there. Then one day, Desmond sat outside for fresh breeze and Marcus's loud voice boomed from the popular joint nearby. I beg, make everybody rest jaw. Desmond takes life seriously. Yes, I am owing him and now I didn't kill anybody. Even Dangote is owing a bank. I am not the first to be a debtor. Borrowing is not a crime. If he likes, he should carry me to a court. It still won't change anything. Besides, I don't even have his money again. He should relax, I beg. Desmond heard everything clearly. He just smiled and said, "We shall see." He stopped asking Marcus for the money completely. When Marcus saw that Desmond no longer complained or even mentioned the debt, he was relieved. In fact, he started greeting Desmond loudly again. "My brother, how is the family?" Desmond would just smile and say, "We are fine, no." Marcus began telling people, "You see that Desmond? Na better man, I mean correct man. You see some people, if you owe them small thing like this, they will carry it on their heads like gala tree." He didn't know that Desmond had already decided to do something that would pain him to the bone marrow. One evening, Desmond did something nobody expected. He invited Marcus to his house. At first, Marcus was suspicious. "Hope this man doesn't want to raise the debt matter again," he thought. But when he arrived, Desmond was smiling warmly and his wife served him a very good meal with chilled malt to step it down. Marcus relaxed instantly. "Desmond, this is why I like you. You have a very good spirit. Some people would have blocked me everywhere." Desmond laughed. "Forget that, my brother. Life is too short for grudges now. You na my guy." From that day, the two men became close again. Time passed. Desmond began noticing something. Marcus's wife Amaka was a gentle woman, quiet, respectful, and always trying to calm her husband's excesses. Many times, Desmond would see her apologizing to shopkeepers that Marcus had argued with. One afternoon, Desmond met her at the store. She was struggling to pay for some food items. He helped her out politely, just like any good neighbor would have. Amaka thanked him with a smile that showed how tired she was of her husband's loud life. That small moment was all Desmond needed to understand how miserable Marcus's pride had made his own home vulnerable. He told himself, "There is no need to fight with hands." That same week, he pretended to be helping Marcus with another business proposal. He would often visit, always when Marcus wasn't around, to drop one suggestion or another. Amaka saw him as a kind and trustworthy man, not knowing he had a different plan. One evening, he offered Marcus a bottle of drink at the bar. "Guy, you too dey think. Relax small with this." Marcus laughed and drank happily, and then he slept like a log, too deep to even dream. That was the day Desmond made his move in a more subtle way. When Amaka discovered she was pregnant several weeks later, Marcus celebrated. "Finally, my generation will continue." But when the baby arrived, Okologo Street turned silent because that baby, with a sharp nose, dimpled chin, and calm brown eyes, looked exactly like Desmond. People try to hide it at first, but Nigerians don't know how to hide gist, especially stuffs like this. Marcus laughed it off, but deep down he couldn't sleep. Every time he looked at that baby, his heart jumped. The baby smiled exactly like Desmond. Even the shape of his head was the same. One morning, he confronted Desmond. "Guy, I beg make I ask you, what is happening here?" Desmond looked at him calmly. "Nothing special, my guy. Just give me my 150,000 naira, I beg." Marcus frowned. "I don't have it yet, and that's on period." Desmond smiled again. "Oh, you mean you don't want to pay your debts?" "Don't worry, my guy. I already collected it." Marcus blinked confused. "Collected it? But how?" Desmond's smile grew wider. "Your baby, my darling." Marcus froze. For the first time in his life, the talkative had no words. He stopped attending bar meetings. For a man who used to brag at the joint every evening, this sudden silence was louder than church bells. At first, People thought he was sick. One of them even went to check up on him. But when he came back, he whispered to everyone who cared to listen. Marcus no well for mind though. That man just dey lose space like person wey see ghost. Before long, the whole street began to buzz with curiosity. Wetin happen? Is he having marital crisis? Or true na Desmond give him wife belle? That was how gossip like breeze began from one end of the street to another, and as a result of the gist, Okologo Street changed. People who owed began paying very fast, and worst of it all, Desmond didn't deny it. Whenever Marcus passed, Desmond would simply smile politely and say, "Good afternoon, my brother." That smile cut deeper than any insult. One day, Marcus finally snapped. "Desmond," he barked. Desmond looked up calm as ever. "What's the matter?" Marcus's hands were shaking. "So you think you can embarrass me, right? You think because I owed you small money, you can use it to destroy my home?" Desmond calmly replied, "Marcus, I didn't destroy your home. Your pride did." "Don't talk nonsense," Marcus yelled. "You went behind me and slept with my wife. That's wickedness in the highest order." Desmond's eyes darkened a little. "I didn't go behind you, Marcus. You left your marriage open when you started disrespecting your wife and making a joke of those who helped you. I only taught you the kind of pain words can't express. I hope you now know how it feels to deliberately offend someone." Marcus looked around and realized half the street was watching. Shame wrapped him like a wet blanket. He wanted to shout more, but his voice cracked. He pointed at Desmond and said, "My God will judge you." Desmond replied sweetly, "He had already judged you, my darling." That night, Amaka cried until her eyes puffed. She tried explaining, but Marcus refused to listen. "I don't know how this thing happened," she sobbed. "Only God and Desmond can explain this." She dropped to her knees. "Please forgive me, my husband." He sighed deeply. "Forgive you?" "The whole street is laughing at me, Amaka. Every time I pass, they call me Baba Desmond Jr. You think that one is easy to live with?" He picked his shirts, picked up one small bag, and left the house that minute. Nobody knew where he went. The next morning, gossip reached every corner as usual. One of them said, "It's good for him. That's what you get when you think you are too smart." Another person added, "This is not the first time he mocked people that have credited him. Now look at him. Kamma no dey use announcements." Days turned into weeks and Marcus didn't return back. His house became quiet like a church after benediction. Some said he relocated to another city. Others said he joined his uncle's business in Port Harcourt, but one rumor stood stronger than the rest, that Marcus left because he couldn't bear the pain of raising another man's child. Amaka and her pa stayed behind with the baby, who was growing healthy and beautiful. People pitied her, but she carried herself with quiet dignity. Marcus finally arrived at his new location with a heart full of bitterness. He found a small room behind the barber shop. The landlord looked at him and said, "Na 50,000 naira per month oh, I no want stories." Marcus nodded quickly. He didn't even negotiate because life had already beaten the bargaining spirit out of him. He started hustling, but his face carried too much sadness and people refused to associate with him. He was able to stay there just for 1 month before hunger chased him back home. Desmond tried to reconcile with him, but Marcus refused. In fact, he didn't touch the baby at all, and Amaka protected that child from him because he didn't hide it at all that he resent him. Several months later, a man visited. He still hadn't healed from what Desmond did to him. "Are you Mr. Marcus?" the man asked. Marcus swallowed hard. "Who is asking?" "I am Mr. Gerard from St. James Hospital. Desmond sent me," the man said gently. Marcus froze. "Desmond is dead," the man finally said. What? Dead? As in how? Car accident. He was rushed in with other victims who were returning from Enugu. Before he died, he told me to find you. He said I should tell you that he forgave you long time ago and that the child deserves peace. Tears burned Marcus's eyes. He forgave me? The man nodded. He said you both hurt each other. He also said your wife knew nothing about the S. That anger pushed him beyond what a human should do. He gave Amaka a sharp piercing that made her weak because he wanted to teach you a painful lesson, not realizing he was creating a bigger wound. He said he has forgiven you and you should please forgive him as well. Marcus couldn't hold it anymore. He broke down crying in front of everyone. Soon, the news of his death was everywhere. Marcus finally carried the baby when the man left, and something shifted inside him like a door of responsibility finally opening. People watched the slow change and were amazed. See Marcus so. He don't they behave like proper human being now, they said. Some even teased him. Abeg Oga, who feeds your brain? Because he stopped drinking and became content with what he had and was prudent as well in spending. Soon, Marcus came to a painful but honest realization that he was never truly poor. It was his reckless habits, his big mouth, and his carefree lifestyle that kept draining his pockets. For the first time, he began to live with wisdom. He apologized to his wife for not trusting her, and his wife chose peace over pride. They quietly relocated to another town where nobody knew the story. Not because they were ashamed, but because they didn't want the apropos. I mean, those neighborhood gossips, the one they whispered the story to Maxine. The new neighborhood was calm and clean. Maxine, even as a baby, could feel the difference. He was not a showy baby, but he had the face that warned people like Money's son. When he smiled at strangers in the streets, the strangers suddenly felt better. Before long, a very wealthy woman noticed Maxine and mentioned his calm, photogenic smile to her friend. That friend happened to be taking photographs for a local online parents magazine. She came one morning with a small camera. She asked to take a few pictures of Maxine for a story about happy babies. The photos were bright, soft, and sweet. The online piece called him the little boy with the warmest smile. The article went up that night, and the next day, Marcus woke up to messages on his phone. A diaper company sent a message asking if they could use the baby as their influencer. A small local brand of baby lotion requested the same as well. Marcus almost fainted. He remembered how the baby came and how everything is turning around now. He agreed with his wife. Of course, why not? And that was how it became a routine. Maxine was the face of several brands. The payment was enough to feast them for life if properly managed. And yes, Marcus was equal to the tax this time. He invested in both properties and knowledge. He opened an account for the child's schooling and also an investment in his name. He tagged it the payment of the debts he owed Desmond. Life for them didn't stop there. Another door opened in ways Marcus had never expected. They had been struggling to have their own baby even before Maxine, but without any medication. They got pregnant this time and gave birth to a baby girl, and she was indeed a beauty to behold. And so, the ambassador deals continued. Hey, African Tales by Kamma Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. I hope you enjoyed the story and learned one or two things from it as much as I did. Before I leave today, I would like to say this. Sometimes in life, debts are not just about money. When you owe someone and refuse to pay, you are simply planting a seed of pain. And trust me, when that seed grows, it may not bloom the way you expect it. If you borrow, I beg, use the same energy to return it. Don't let pride or small change destroy your friendship with your creditor. And let me also remind you that when your creditor decides to stop talking about that money, they might be planning a lesson you will never forget. And for those who love revenge, Remember, two wrongs can never make right. What Desmond did may have satisfied his anger, but it also created another generation of confusion. Their Kamma tribe? Let me even ask you, why is it that people become like an angel when they want to borrow money and suddenly become a demon when it is time to pay? Kindly share your thoughts with me in the comments. Don't forget to give the story a thumbs up, share to your loved ones, subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel. And until I bring the next interesting story your way, it's a goodbye from here and God bless you.